campaign. We raised significant monies for projects on our buildings, improvements and restorations, and we raised significant monies to expand the music ministry and to bring on a minister for children and youth. And we invested $15,000 a year into the music ministry for 4 years and $15,000 a year into the ministry of children and youth for 4 years out of those very special capital funds that were given. We are now at the end of that 4-year cycle, and we have a little reserve left in that capital campaign, but we don't have the $30,000 available to us anymore. Add to this, go back up to that withdrawal from endowment fund number, we have had one of the craziest years you can imagine for anyone who invests. And the return on our endowment has been mediocre at best, as I would say all of our savings have had mediocre returns. Now look to that 2012 budget. In order to make up the difference, that loss of funds from the capital campaign, we are moving that forward into the future campaign. We are going to put $6,250 into the music ministry rather than $15,000, and $6,250 into the ministry for children and youth rather than the $15,000. $6,250 times 2 equals $12,500. Therefore, our hope in terms of pledging, you'll see the pledge number up at the top of the page, 2012 budget, $357,000, in order to offset that. And what we are finding now as we move into 2012 is that financially, this church is facing the perfect storm. We do not have a tremendous return on our endowment because nobody does. We have lost significant donors through death. We have less money available from the capital campaign to fund program in 2012. Another way to look at this budget is to understand that overall, the endowment in recent years has tended to pay for the buildings and the utilities. The program monies that are available to the boards and committees have tended to be raised by fundraising events, like the church fair yesterday, $10,000, and the auction that we have every 2 years. So endowment pays for the buildings and the utilities, and thank God for the people who have left bequests to us. If we dig deeper into the endowment and diminish its capacity to care for the buildings and the utilities and the maintenance, we create another problem. So we need that endowment. We need the fundraising events to fund the programming, and it is the current giving of the living members, this 300,000+ every year, that enables the staff to be here. 2 ordained ministers, a full-time minister of music, a 20-hour-per-week minister for children and youth, 2 people in our office secretary and office manager, a sexton, and a couple of very small part-time positions. The living money from us pays for the staffing, salaries and benefits. If the living money drops significantly, the only place we can go is to cut staff, to cut hours, to cut program. And today, long before Christmas. I didn't want to allow more weeks to go by. I just felt that it was important for me to open my heart, explain the situation that we are facing, look at the reality of the numbers, and once again, I want to reiterate, you are a blessing. You work so hard. You give what you are able, yet somehow, some way, if we sustain what we have, we've got to empower some of those 300 plus families who do not give to feel the need to share. And those of us who are able need to step up one category, out of that $10 a week to $20 a week, out of that $20 a week to $30 a week. We accomplish so much here. Last Sunday, when we gathered the 50 kids around the tree and we had all the parents, and I thought to myself, wow, this is a phenomenal experience. I have so many colleagues in ministry who would give their right hand to have this many kids show up to decorate a Christmas tree. When I meet with colleagues in ministry, they'll say to me, well, we have about 6 kids in church. How many do you have? We live in a different world. We have been abundantly blessed. We have so much to do. And we can change the world through the gifts of these children and the moments that we experience here, and the youth ministry program that is happening, the beauty of our music program. Because we have programs, we have people. You eliminate the programs, we will not have the people. That is the challenge we are facing. So I prayerfully share this with you today. If you have questions, I'd be glad to respond downstairs in coffee hour. But please receive this as an Advent meditation that is of the utmost urgency for all of us and for our ministry. Amen. Well, let's transition to tithes and offerings. I didn't exactly plan it that way, but that's what it says in the bulletin. We've talked about what we need to do. Let's share our gifts and give thanks to God who will multiply.